Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Hard West with me, Bring It On. Let's go to Maple Falls. Maple Falls is the biggest settlement in the area, and was peopled with decent folk for the most part. There was a gunsmith, a saloon, and there was always somebody who needed medical attention. I made a round of the houses and offered my medical expertise, hoping it would net me some coin. It took me a couple of hours. I made $75 profit from the home visits. Upon entering Maple Falls, a scrawny youngster approached me, began blithering about an accident in a nearby coal mine. He urged me to go there immediately. I agreed to go with him. I feel like we still have time, so let's not do it yet. Return to Maple Falls, I paid a visit to the gunsmith. The gunsmith is a smug, well-dressed man, but an incorrigible buffoon. He fixed us with a condescending look without saying anything. I took a look at his wares. But he's got some decent stuff. I don't care for the pepper box. We'll trade like that. What do we have? Alright, let's do the Lone Star Coal Mine. The wounded miner is conscious, but a large opening in the middle of his chest. I asked him how it happened. Apparently, as the man had been stamping some explosives with a metal pole when the charge went off, sending the pole flying through his chest. I could clearly see his beating heart and the expanding motion of his right lung. The left one was almost completely destroyed. The wound bled profusely. The man was short of breath. I told the men to leave me alone with him. Yeah, let's get the body part instead. I gave him an excessive dose of morphine to ease his pain, packed his good lung for my friends at the morgue, and instructed the other miners to get the priest. The morphine worked quickly. The man passed away without suffering. When the body arrived at the morgue, medicine would note the mark and extract the lung for me. If you visit various locations, characters with transplants will decay, accumulating negative stat modifiers. Observe the clock icons and the exploration panel to gauge how each action increases your party's decay. Can be reset the morgue at the expense of ether. Martial Stomach, 1 HP. We'll give that to him. And Courage, of course. We'll get to that eventually. Let's go to the slaughterhouse next. I visited the local slaughterhouse. The bovine cardiovascular system is far more efficient than the humans. Naturally, I was interested in acquiring some of that power for you. You had the strongest bull slaughtered, and its heart extracted. I found buying a heart for you quite romantic. Of course, it had to be prepped at the morgue, where I could use it in a human being. Alright, to the war hospital. I went to the war hospital, where wounded soldiers were being nursed back to health, or to a state where they could be put in front of the house with a begging bowl. I posed as a local doctor. No one questioned my ruse. I examined the patients, looking for body parts suitable for you. Found a myopic soldier who once been a sharpshooter. I reasoned that his skill must lie in his arms, so I amputated one of them, and had it sent to the morgue, where my friends could prepare it for my use. As I was leaving, however, one of the nurses identified me as a stranger. She raised a clamor and called the staff to apprehend me. Luckily for me, the response to the alarm was quite uncoordinated, thus I was able to escape before facing the consequences of my actions. Alright, to the lynch mob. A noisy crowd attracted my attention. I soon realized it was a lynch mob. They were bent on punishing a Chinaman, whom they said had slept with a white woman. I'd seen the poor devil in town. A first-class craftsman, he was good with his hands and a prodigy at finding useful trinkets others might dismiss as junk. It would have been foolhardy to take on the whole crowd, so I watched patiently from a safe distance. I hoped I'd be able to salvage something from the corpse. The mob did their worst. There was hardly anything left after they finished with the poor man. His death was not in vain, however. I managed to salvage one of his hands. Well, hopefully we don't need a fight, because he really needs to be fixed before we enter an altercation. Alright, the beauty clinic. One of my fellow doctors, Dr. Stoneman, ran a beauty clinic in the nearby Hot Springs area. While he was not overly fond of me, many of his patients harbored the opposite sentiment. Case in point, the elderly Mrs. Harper saw me in the clinic and implored me to visit her at home to resolve a problem of hers. I promised I would come. The clinic had an experimental cosmetic surgery ward. There, Dr. Stoneman restored syphilis victims' noses, removed gunshot scarring, and removed excess fat tissue from the obese. As fat is an extremely efficient source of ether, I was naturally quite interested. I snuck into the operating ward to search for a suitable patient. After searching the rooms, I found a morbidly obese man taking a nap. He was perfect. I put a chloroform-soaked rag against his mouth and nose, turned him over, and started cutting into his skin. I collected a good deal of fat when I was discovered by a warden. The guard was confused. I assured him that Stoneman was a colleague of mine, and I would be finished in a matter of minutes. Still, he rushed off to alert Stoneman. He was furious, naturally. Still, by the time he arrived, I had sewn the patient back together, and the fat had been removed properly. Stoneman might complain about my burglary, but not my surgery. Luckily, Dr. Duval, an old friend and leader of our secret society, was there too. Were it not for Dr. Duval, my dispute with Dr. Stoneman could have gotten violent, which would have been most unfortunate. Instead, however, Duval assured Stoneman I meant no harm, that I had effectively done Stoneman a service by taking care of his patient in exchange for a mere bucket of fat. Stoneman called me an epithet I am loath to repeat, and assured my rampage would soon be over. I dismissed his threats. The matter was resolved. I left the premises. Alright, to the general store next. A small array of tents in a single wooden building looked like a mirage in the middle of the Badlands. The sign read, Nico's General Goods. The store was run by a gentleman in round glasses and a black duster coat. The man said if I took part in a little test of his, he'd give me a 20% discount. I took the deal. Without a word, he held forth a single jelly bean in each hand. He said one was orange flavored, the other was blueberry. He said I should pick one. I chose the blue one. I'm unable to determine the ingredients that constituted these jelly beans, but I had passed out for a quarter of an hour. As you can imagine, I was less than satisfied, but the peculiar man kept his promise of a 20% discount on all his wares. He said he would also sell me a powerful amulet. I just wanted to trade. I do like the aim, so we'll grab that. And plus 4 max HP is nothing to sneeze at either. It's expensive though, so we will not buy that. Alright, let's do the rich house next. I was called to tend to a severe case of gout affecting a wealthy rancher. The man was so delirious with pain, he barely knew I was there. He was so far gone, I decided that rather than treat his gout, I'd simply extract some ether from him. I could also money or ether. I think ether is more valuable, so we'll grab that instead. We still got some money, so. But I knew it would be ineffective. I bled him, collecting his fluids to make more ether. I charged his family a modest fee for this service. I got back on my way. So he's not in great shape. Minus 10 aim, minus 1 damage, minus 4 movement, minus 4 HP, and minus 40 max luck. Let's do the Harper Ranch. I found Mrs. Harper most distraught. She told me quite convincingly that ever since her first son Henry had gone to war, her other children had been plotting to kill her. While she was resigned to passing away, she feared the prospect of being strangled, poisoned, or otherwise brutalized. She then asked me to help her end her life peacefully. She promised significant compensation. I agreed to assist her in this most delicate matter. Mrs. Harper put on her finest clothes for the occasion and lay down on a couch. She motioned to me to proceed. I'd say for me. I prepared a chloroform mask for her, loaded with a dose so big it would put down a horse. She breathed in its vapors until she placidly became insensate. After a brief interval, I checked her pulse and found she had passed away. Alas, the children did not appreciate my actions. Mrs. Harper's younger son learned what had happened. He was furious. Apparently, Mrs. Harper had lost her wits in her old age and had become paranoid. I'd been duped by this mad woman. Now her son was challenging me to a duel. As a man of honor, I accepted. Then he served as my second. We're to march 10 steps, then turn around and fire. The Harpers had their own family guns, passed from generation to generation for use in such momentous events as this. The day was sunny with a slight breeze. As the countdown started, I marched into the face of death. Before the countdown was finished, I spun around and shot young Harper in the back. Young Harper was sent flying, as the second pulled his gun on me, then he shot him between the eyes. Unfortunately, due to the circumstances, we had no time to harvest blood from either one of them for ether production. We left. And we got the quarter-pounder pistol, which hits like a truck. Alright, let's go fix Phineas. I returned to the morgue, and Venison greeted me with a nod. I asked whether they could do anything about the decay. The downside of our transplant technology was that the grafts decayed over time. Once decay set in, gangrene and other diseases were sure to follow. But the possibilities a transplantation offered trumped any inconvenience. We were confident we would improve our technology over time. At any rate, it was time to get some decay treatment. Phineas was falling apart. It only cost 9 ether. Alright, what else do we got? Alright, so we need the Hand of Fortune. What else do we need? Priest Tongue. And Human Lymph. We have the Hand of Fortune here. But none of the other stuff yet. Alright, to the laboratory. I returned to my laboratory in the graveyard. We were still stable. I was ready to perform the surgery. The singular property of ether is that it allows useful pieces of the deceased to be reused in living humans. You remember that poor devil Somerset, whom you freed during your escape? His cancerous growth seemed to give him unique powers. Naturally, I extracted it and saved for your rebirth. Your former slave masters were content exploiting you for menial quarry work. What a pathetic band of ignorance. I can see that your leadership and determination gave you the potential to become a superior human being. But compared with an average human, your physical strength is adequate at best. What about compared to an average tiger? Shattered arms, off with them. Failing heart, replace it with the bulls. Kidneys, why stop at 2? I worked all day, and it all came together in a truly divine way.
You were already an incredible specimen. Your surgeries made you something even more.
Even more what? Your surgeries made me a monster. You only wanted me for your sick fantasies. And after you had your fun, you sent those thugs to kill me.
Alright, so we'll take the luck on her. Then each one of them will get sight. Her aim isn't great. If we'll do it like this instead. I see. Compatible tissues 2. These are +4 movement and +10 max luck. He has 1, which just gives him +6 sight. Not great. Alright, let's go. There's a rude awakening, if I'd ever had one.
When I woke up, the pain was blinding, and my hands.
Yes, your hands were quite mangled in the fall, but in any case, your new ones are far superior.
Superior? These are Fred Glass's hands, you bastard. Your armed goons will close it in, but I don't die easy.
A little reckless. $73, $58.
The gunfire woke up Phineas, your other freak.
Pretty good odds of killing this guy. Alright, what does he get from courage here? +20 aim, +1 damage. Okay. Well, let's take care of this guy. $71 versus $58.
I was locked in, but no lock ever stopped me for long.
Alright, we can at least get behind some cover here, so we're not just standing out in the open. She might be able to help if I can get to a window or something. Now I don't have to worry about it. Alright, Phineas, let's see.
Luckily, Phineas had the key and let me out. We need to get away. No witnesses. We figured we could buy some time if we made a few false tracks. Whatever was in that tank, it kicked like a mule.
So what's over there? Use the rear gate. Yeah, let's do that. It says kill remaining enemies. I wonder if there's actually any remaining or if I killed them all already. I feel like healing items are so rare in this scenario. I don't want to use what I have. Not super great odds, but better than none. Let's just throw 3 enemies.
After that, I knew we wouldn't be followed.
Alright, we just have to track them down wherever they are. I assume they're gonna run to me. What's up, buddy? Nope, misclicked. I don't see anybody else. Don't hear any movement. Nothing. What's up, fellas? Guaranteed kill on this guy. That's a weird choice, but we should be able to get a guaranteed kill on him right here. Oh, only 1 damage. Never mind. It's not guaranteed. Not guaranteed at all.
You saw how I handled myself in the quarry. What made you think you'd be able to kill me?
If I were trying to kill you, why would I send Phineas to help you?
He was your victim, same as me. Even without him talking none, we had an understanding.
So there he was in the middle of the night, the pile of dead bodies. Phineas didn't seem bothered one bit. He piled them corpses up and collected the blood in buckets like he was tending a garden. I understand all that goo stuff back then. You know, the ether. And after that, every time we bested an enemy, we collect their blood to make ether with it. Phineas made it clear that there were some things in the lab he wanted to take. But I waited till he was done. I searched the building methodically. I picked up some trinkets as was lying around. We lost a bit of time. I figured that stuff might come in handy later on. I asked whether he had any safe place we could go. He did. A medical bag, we have mandrake root, vitality elixir. That works for me. Alright, I'm gonna call the episode here. The next one we'll go to the Gorman house and proceed with our story. What's up here? We can go to the morgue as a golem. There's a little... Alright, let's go shopping. I thought it was risky to go there, what with all them white folk around. Phineas seemed confident. He wrote some stuff down and showed it to the old man in charge. Then the man whispered in his ear. They shook hands. Vanessa told me I was free to trade with him. We needed to do something about the rotting flesh. Alright. Let's go back to trading. So I need the lucky lung, priest tongue, and human lymph. So I'll grab that. Guess that's it for now. What does the other one need? The bull's heart. Libertee's eye. Mesmerizing eye and lung of fury. We already have Libertee's eye. +2 movement and the vengeance passive. Yeah, so we'll make him the Revenant. We'll make her the, oh, what's it called? The Homo Superior. I wonder if we get any bonuses for that. Not yet. Alright. Now I'm going to call it here. Next episode, we'll go to the Gorman house and proceed with the story. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.